We just wanna have a good time. Hey yo, wanna have a good time.
Today on What in the Literal Hell? We respond back to YouTube's craziest comments. Now, let's cue the DJ, get this show started.
What's the matter with you?
We're sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Please try again later.
boys and girls, children of all ages, act like you know.
Good morning and welcome to What in the Literal Hell. This morning we're talking everything from monkeypox, chickenpox, and dookiepox. Stick with us. Good morning. Men and women are not equals. That was the quote one brother said online, only to garner this vicious response from a female poster. She said, and I quote, "What do you mean that women are not equals to men? Women have come a long way and we don't need men anymore, let alone being equal to them. In fact," she said, "I would say we are better than men. I personally would be glad that when you die, we could move on with a newer progressive generation." Now, what in the literal hell is that? Which one of them sounded like they were one beer short of a six-pack or two bricks short of a load, I ask you? You see, I would like to respond to her crazy diatribe by saying he was right. He was right. He may not have said things as palatable as you would have liked him to say. So let me see if I can clarify for him. You see, men and women are not equal in that society sees us in two different ways despite the drumbeat of we are completely the same. If we were the same, there would be no set-asides to bolster up one gender over the other, especially in a climate where boys and men alike are struggling to catch up with girls and women professionally. So there's equality stops right there. Now, to answer her insane notion that after he is dead there will be a more progressive society, I would have to say, get a grip. You see, every boy that has ever been born come to us from a home where he is primarily raised by his mother. It is she who instructs him in the ways of dealing with a female. It is she who teaches him to go easy on girls, but to compete strongly with boys. And it is she who tells us to watch out for women because they will, quote, ruin our lives. So this woman's fight is not with this man, but with this man's mother. You see, if 100 generations went by, boys would still be raised by their mothers. And if she is a good mother, she will let him be himself, just as she would let her daughter be herself. She would not train him to be subservient to females. Now, in a moment, I will give you several glaring comparisons as to why we will never be equal. But let me first finish by making my point about mothers. You see, 100 generations from now, our mothers will still feed us as baby boys, love us as baby boys, and nurture us until we are adults despite their misgivings they may have about men. From this care, most grown men and women alike will end up falsely believing that all women, instead of just their mothers, are full of love. And since most fathers work more on their careers, right? Instead of rearing children in the home, we are falsely led to believe that not only do our fathers hate us, but that all men are full of hate. This is wrong. Now, because of this, it is easy for television, movies, and commercials to demonize men and celebrate the love of women instead. Now, let me give you some solid comparisons on how we see the genders differently despite how many generations go by. Now, you might find yourself doing a lot of these things since you were a child. You see, we currently exist in a time period in history in which we demonize men and celebrate women, as I said before, right? In this type of environment, men and women will never, ever truly be equals. Society views women through the poetic notion that all women are perfect and men are full of flaws. You see it every day when you watch TV. There seems to be a she is a good person and he is a bad person in every equation you seem to find. As a young boy growing to be a man in society, it expects you to bend to the will of something similar to what your mother would ask you as a child, or to let your sister win. Holding back in the era of competition and speaking the truth to power. Now, as men, we are groomed not to rock the boat, to stand up and take our societal licks and hatred as a man. Now, as I promised you, these are the glaring comparisons that we all subconsciously use as a society as if they were law, passed down by Congress in Washington, D.C., instead of something we decided to do ourselves. Number one, on one hand, men and society as a whole view women for the most part as victims and someone who needs to be protected. Now, on the other hand, women for the most part see men as victimizers and somebody to be defended from. But in actuality, the two behave in opposition to what they feel about one another. Listen, a woman will tell a man that there is absolutely no reason that a man should hit a woman. Now, on the other hand, if a woman hits a man, society will say maybe he did something wrong to her, or maybe he deserved it. You see, men and women are not equals in this fashion. Number two, on one hand, women see men as something to compete with at every phase of their life. But men don't see women as competition. I don't believe it is in a man to see his primary mate as competition. It is easier for a man to see another man as a competitor first. Now, on the other hand, even if a man did see a woman as competition, she would put him back in his place through the blaming and shaming process by asking him, "Why are you trying to treat me like a man?" You see, men and women are not equals. Three, and my final comparison. If a man at a woman's job tried to treat her like a lady, she would ask him, "Why don't you treat me like one of the guys?" This ever-shifting manufactured view of equality is what is preventing men and women alike from being treated as equals at work or in the home where they live together. For the record, my opinion on equality is not based upon strength that men have or weakness that women have. When I have a problem with this issue, it is based upon a set of lies that our society, our government, and commercial product manufacturers continue to spoon feed us until we believe in a big fat lie. When I used to counsel for a living, and this was for people years ago, I would always get them to the truth by asking them to apply their beliefs through the lens of their childhood truthfulness, you see. Young children will lie to everyone else, but they won't lie to themselves as adults will. It takes an adult mind to say something is equal when it is truly not. If you are a young woman in college today, you know that you have to give back to your teacher the exact book science on a project on what is equal and what is not. You cannot expect to get an A in a college exam saying that an apple is equal to an orange, or that 1 and 1 are equal to 3. I say again, only an adult who is taught to live a life of glaring double standards, just not to rock the boat, can spit out these demonizing things to put down men and celebratory statements to uplift females, just for being female. In closing, I believe the absolute worst thing is that all of us were born to males that we don't stand up for. There are women who have boyfriends and husbands alike who relish the fact that they don't defend male honor, but they take great flattery in the fact that males defend theirs. There are women who have sons, plural, and yet never protest in the streets about what is going on in this so-called equal experiment. For what in the living hell? This is Charles. Now, go out today and hold the door for a woman and let a man behind her hold the door for himself, as you were raised to do. And remember, we're all equal. And resistance is futile. See you tomorrow.
Holy smokes, I'm no joke out the bullpen. Bringing nothing but heat, leave you hanging like clothespins. He's a beast when he goes in, ice cold frozen. The first round draft pick, number 1 chosen. Drop bombs, explosion, self-promotion. And I keep moving like a flanker in motion. I'm the number 1 spokesman, is my devotion. That I'm dedicated to the rhyme is my own notion. Brown water's the potion, it put hair on your chest. Or you can put one in the air and it'll put you to rest. Sweet dreams, I'm about to fade. I got my mind on my money and I'm thinking about getting the
You're watching MNN, the Men's Channel.
Because I